and gentlemen, and ladies, welcome to September. That is right, folks. We are in September already. Whoo, September 3rd to be exact. For those that have kids, are you enjoying your kids being back in school? I know I am. Now I'm going to get back in the nitty-gritty and the grind. Starting September 5th, we will be going live for NHL 26. A full hut kind of. You're going to see me play some hut. I'm going to get into some World of Chill. But that's not what this video is about. This video today is about the Gary Bettman news. Mr. Bettman just said, you know what? Hold thy horses, hold thy horses, hold thy horses. There was a rule that was supposed to come out next season where you can't use LTIR in your playoff run to help you win a cup. Tampa, Florida, Chicago, LA, all the teams that have done it, I think it's 5 of the last 6 cup winners are LTIR loophole. We're going to call it the Canadian rule because a little birdie told me that Toronto was about to use it this year. The Edmonton Oilers were going to use it like they did last year, came up just short because Florida used it again. How do you have a player suspended for steroids, but yet use his cap? Usually if your player is suspended, that is dead space, dead roster. He's no longer allowed on your team until suspension is over, and that money cannot or should not have not been used to get 3 extra guys for your playoff run. So Gary Bettman's like, you know what, I'm done with this. I'm done with the cap circumventing. What does that mean? I don't know if you can see my whiteboard in the back here, but I'm going to quickly go over it. The cap, as we all know, is going to be $95.5 million. No team can be above that during the regular season. No team can be above that in the postseason. Every game you have to submit your roster. It has to be cap compliant. Number 2, I'm going to get into this one because this one is pretty big. Teams can still make trades during the season. They can still go out and say, hey, would you mind, so we can be cap compliant in the regular season, eating a bit of salary? I'm going to use the example of, let's say, Matthew Tkachuk is hurt in the regular season. Matthew Tkachuk, Rodrigue, we'll throw a few more names out there. And Florida goes to Nashville, and Nashville's shit in the bed again. And they say, hey, how's about we take Steven Stamkos off your hands, you retain 50%, but then we're going to make a third team as well. So we'll give you a first-round pick and a couple of our AHL players. We'll give a first-round pick to throw a team in there, Ottawa. Ottawa will retain 25%. You retain 50%. He's ours for 25% of his salary. So that's like $2.5 million. So now he's $2.5 million. He's on the Florida Panthers in the regular season. Okie dokie hoity toity. Now, this is where the fun begins. He's an $8 million player. Come playoffs, he's not 2.5. He's not 4. He is the full $8 million to the Florida Panthers. Now they have to have him on their roster and have everybody else on the roster as well under the 95.5. It is going to stop teams from going out and being mercenaries. Vegas, Florida, Tampa, Dallas, Edmonton to a degree, and from like what I was saying, Toronto was about to do it this year. It's going to stop teams from going out and giving up the assets and the farm to get one guy at the cheapest of cheap. Cap circumventing, I'll be damned. Gary Bettman did a good thing. Now, I'm not going to say it's going to be the be-all, end-all, fix everything, but it's going to help. By the way, there's 3 teams right now that are in cap hell. Vegas, Montreal, Florida. Vegas is 7 and some change over. Montreal's 5 and some changeover, and Florida is 4 and some changeover. And this is not going to be good. So now you can't just, oh, well, we're over the cap. We're just going to put this player on LTIR, have him out for the entire year, and he'll be back game 1 ready, playoff ready game 1. Can't do that this year. Thank God Gary finally opened his eyes to seeing what was going on. But it only took 2 Canadian teams to do it for him to change the rule. That's right. It only took Edmonton and Toronto to go out and do something for him to change the rules. So I am, for all intents and purposes, calling it the Canadian rule. Now, I'm going to show you some pretty awesome insight as to where this is going to get funky. Bang. Now, where this is going to get funky, as you see here, I wasn't lying when I say teams are over the cap. Edmonton is right below it, but there's nothing to worry about that there. Speaking of Edmonton, Connor McDavid, welcome back to Edmonton. Thank you for staying. Maybe I shouldn't be saying that news on here. Too late, already did. You'll find out about it in the morning. Now, NHL and NHLPA lock in CBA transaction dates. Effective immediately, NHL playoff salary cap, limit changes to LTIR, reducing the benefits of team receiving the LTIR. Also, no deferred compensation. Effective October 7th, there is going to be no longer deferred compensation. There's also going to be restrictions on paper loans. So you're not going to send a guy like the Oilers were doing with, who was it that they did that with a few times? Hamblin. And they had another guy going up and down, but he never really went down. It was just paper transaction. He was an AHL player. Derek Ryan, I believe, was a paper transaction a few times. Don't quote me on that, but I think it was Derek Ryan and Matt Hamlin, a defenseman, where they'd put him down to accumulate his salary and then use his daily salary to go at the cap deadline and go out and use that. Any Hoosies can't do that anymore. Also, restrictions on paper, on a second retention on a trade contract. You can't do that anymore. Nay, no. AHL loans for 19-year-old players not yet in effect, but an effort to being made to negotiate this with CHL 25-26 season. 4 recall rule. I don't know what that is. I will look more into that. That's on me for not knowing that. Now, implemented prior to this was drafted players' rights retentions for 26-27, minor league compensation limits for March 1st, NHL minimum salary increase. You know that. It's all increase. Now, September 16th, 2026, implementation of contract term limit. This is what affects Connor McDavid. This is what's going to affect the players that have their contracts due next year but can sign this year. After this year, teams can no longer go 8 years. They can only go 7. So I feel like Connor McDavid, please sign the 8-year. I know your contract now is 4 years, $16 million. He clearly wants the Oilers to show him that they're serious about winning. But 4 times 16, it is what it is. So now, next year, whoever comes up next year, they can't sign the 8-year term. They can only sign 7. Contract availability limit. Signing bonus limit, because right now the signing bonuses are fucking through the roof. If you looked at Corey Perry's contract. Also, if you're looking at the Winnipeg Jets' newest acquisition, Jonathan Taves, or Toes, depending on if you like to make jokes or not. His contract is basically bonuses. Actual salary is $700,000, but he could make up to 5.2 in bonuses. That's going to be changing next season. Emergency backup goalie system. It's going to no longer be like, hey, we hear that you're the goaltender for the U of A. You are now the e-bug of the evening. No, they're actually going to have a system of guys in every arena traveling. So it's not just going to be your local Zamboni driver jumping in the game. It's actually going to be guys that actually have pedigree and actually are slated to be NHL goalies. one day. Now, roster emergency expectation changes. Get more into that next season. Performance bonus eligibility for injured veterans. That's going to change as well. The QO threshold increase. That's changing. The ELC signing bonus increase. This is where it's going to get very interesting for players that get drafted next year and so on and so forth. Your ELC right now is only $975,000. That can now increase to up to $2 million. Now, again, I like the new rule that's coming in just for the salary cap and playoffs. Sorry, I lost my thought there. I'm loving the fact that we got salary cap playoffs. Yeah. Yes, the Oilers took advantage of it. Abso-fucking-lutely they did. But, again, when one team has a guy get tested positive for steroids, you use his $8 million to go and get 3 really good players, and then miraculously he's allowed to come back after a 25-game suspension. Yeah, it's a kick to the nuts. It absolutely is a kick to the nuts. Now, that's it. That's all I got for this video. My name is Matt for OilersFanReaction. Follow us on the socials. I'll be back Friday, bright and early, with some chow. When the news is made official, I'll be back making it official. You're back in Edmonton practicing at the community rink. The ice is in Rogers Place right now for them to skate on. Miss all you mother truckers. See you. Deuces.